Bulldogs dominated the Alabama Crimson Tide. 33-18 was the final score.
Domination, man.
You know what I'm saying? They started off a very defensive game. We had a bunch of people, man, that couldn't get out of third down. It was always third and long, second and long. And a little bit of ebb and flow.
How they dominate if it's always third and long? That don't even match. That's not even the logical statement.
This is the first half.
About first half.
This is the first half.
You building the story.
If you dominate from point A to point B.
Well, they dominated from third quarter to fourth quarter. They dominated.
Dominate me.
If you really want to talk about it.
Anyway,
why you so defensive, man?
I don't know. You being very extra. This ain't you, Deuce. Chill out, man.
Why you so up here? Come down. It's okay.
I'm just upset at these lies, man.
Okay. All right. Well,
wow.
Look, how about this? It was a very cordial game. Everyone was playing nice, and the Bulldogs squeaked out a win, 33-18. Does that sound better for you? Cool. Awesome. So again, very defensive game in the first half. I think it was like what? It was 9-6. Again, a very defensive game. Nothing but field goals. We saw Jameis Williams. He had that injury early in the first half. So one of their lead receivers went down and everything. But you know what? It's Alabama, right? Predicated on your defense. I don't know what Bryce Young is about, but that
running game.
Also
Bryce Young was dropping dimes.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. He, what's his name? Latu, the tight end. He just did really well. He had over 100 yards receiving, and everything. Really, really, really good. Second half came up though, so this is what really happened, right? So this is when the Bulldogs started to establish their run game and get the defense on their heels. Next thing you know, they have a touchdown, couple of touchdowns, an interception. There was a fumble in there somewhere. I think there was some Bill Belichick-ish calls. We just call leave it at that. But at the end of the day, the Bulldog allegedly, at the end of the day,
no, that was a fumble. You have professionals looking at it. They called it in the field fumble. They went to the booth. They looked in the little thing. They reviewed it with their eyeballs. They reviewed it, all these different angles, right? Then they on the mic. Hey, people on the back in the studio, what do you see? Fumble. Everybody saw a fumble.
I believe they was on the phone. I think they got that hotline bling, from Belichick allegedly, and they had some discussions on what they could do, and they came out with the option that seems to fit what was needed. They got a touchdown out of it. It was great.
There you go. Thank you, Reg, for someone who watched the game as well as I did. But yeah,
Reg watched the game with his eyes closed, apparently.
Wow. All right, well let's just get to the question, because see, like you got a lot of stuff you got to say, Deuce. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick us off. Reactions.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Reactions.
Yeah,
First
how you
of
felt
all,
about the game?
I'm gonna say Georgia got a win fair and square.
Okay.
I mean, they were able to squeak by on a very wounded and injured Alabama team. You got the Heisman Trophy winner, who was down 2 of his star receivers. When he came in with 1, you see in the first half, we were managing that game. He got injured. Other receivers dropping the ball. They went up for the pressure. Cool. We're down 2 cornerbacks on defense. Okay, that's how to show itself later half, right? Cool. But we had Georgia shaking in them draws, man. Halftime, they had to come back, re-huddle, call people, figure out how to do this thing, because Alabama had them. We were playing the game with position, man. This is how scared we had them. We were up. Georgia had the ball at the end of the first half, man.
Okay.
First down, nothing. Second down, nothing. And now it's just like, Nick Saban's going to call a timeout at any time to try to get the ball back. Nick said, I ain't worried about y'all. That was the right call. Save it for halftime. Come back in the second half, bro. Because we knew what was going down. One of the reasons Georgia won We didn't have an offensive threat downfield, man. Now, granted, they changed up the scheme. They got the Bryce Young in the second half. Got you. He was dropping dimes. Don't blame him. The receivers weren't able to rise up to the challenge just yet. We'll be back next year, right? The defense, we kept them on the field way too long. And when Georgia found out, oh, snap, we could run. Because I'll be fair, neither team ran the ball last season. I don't know what you're doing, homie.
I'm sorry. I was just capturing your tears because they're delicious right now.
Bruh, you just bought that cup today. To wrap it up, when Georgia found out they could run in the second half, because neither team ran the first half, neither team tried. When they found out they could run, I said, okay, they found their swagger. I see what it is now. And they got the W. But it's cool. They won one, we won one. We beat them in the SEC championship game. We mollywopped them. They barely got past us in the championship game. Ooh.
Wow. I didn't know I didn't know it was counting regular seasons. But okay, go ahead. Reg, go ahead. You got something you want to add to that? Or
I was a little perplexed because we was talking about blowout, not blowouts, and then you were talking about how it was a close game, but then you said they was shaking in their boots, they was scared, it was this, that, and the third. I was just a little confused. We were a little all over the place, but how I saw the game, I'm gonna let y'all know. Y'all probably.
But did you watch with your eyes open though? Did you watch with your eyes open?
I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna remind y'all, since y'all probably know, outside of Deuce, we probably don't really follow college sports all that much, so
we know Chris excited about that cup today.
Kurt is a huge Alabama fan, so we figured this would be the topic for the night. I tuned in, I watched the game. Boy, was that first half boring, but that's what the defense.
Beautiful.
That's a defensive game. It's a defensive game. I saw, Alabama was struggling, in my opinion, to find red zone success. And we kind of hung up here and we're going back and forth. There was a moment in the game. Let us know what y'all think in the comment section where they ruled a fumble on what could have been an incomplete pass, but they ruled it a fumble that was recovered inbounds. And Alabama was able to. Hey, it is what it is. That's what was called. Alabama was able to convert that for their first touchdown in the end zone. Besides that, they just had to keep selling for field goals. They just were not doing very well in the end zone. So now, going into the second half, I don't know what was going on with Alabama's secondary, but they was just getting burnt. Man got smoked. He was just like, nah, I'm gonna just go ahead and tackle. The ball wasn't even thrown yet. He said, I'm gonna just tackle this dude and take the 15-yard penalty. I mean, it is pass interference because ain't no way I'm gonna let this touchdown get up and coach gonna chew me out. All right, bet. Hit that same side of the field again. Touchdown, long bomb. And then throughout, they just penalties. That secondary is just getting burnt, and they just kept putting hands on the receivers, and that's really what killed them. There was a drive that I felt like they were gonna just go 3 and out, and they just gave them a freebie with even the touchdown right before that. I forgot to mention that was a freebie because it was an offside. So he's just like, oh, I'm gonna throw this one up, see what happens. That was the touchdown that hurt them. And then that pass interference really just gave them a chance to get another touchdown. And then they did a full-on blitz in the red zone. That was it. Then the interception was just the dagger, the icing on the cake. But all these mistakes leading up to it, that's how I saw it. Let me know what y'all think.
Astounding.
Yeah,
Very astute.
That was not good. They established a run. One of our D linemen got injured. And when he got injured, Georgia was able to run the ball. When they were to run the ball, they kept the defense, oh, snap. We didn't know they could run the ball. Now we got to play the run and the pass. And that's what opened up the pass lane. That dude ain't no...
I do want to agree with you on something you said, not to put the blame on the quarterback, because they was on his ass. That defense was on his ass. There was
what about the O-line? I'm gonna ask y'all, what about the O-line? Because
that O-line,
they weren't really protecting him.
They were not protecting him. They was on his ass, and I wouldn't say that the receivers weren't necessarily stepping up to the plate. There was that one, I don't know what he was trying to do with the one arm catch. I feel like he could have just focused a little bit more on the play and caught that when they were trying to get that run. There was another one where there was a perfectly good target across the field, but that defender just came in and put his hand in without getting past interference. So that was just a great defensive play. I feel like between the receivers, they did what they could. And I felt like the quarterback with the pressure he was doing, he did pretty well. That O-line was struggling, and that secondary was just really struggling for you guys. And that's where I felt like it broke down.
When Williams went down, though, that's when we lost our deep threat, man. He got to start using people who don't have those reps in. Great players, they don't have the reps in yet.
Yeah. I can hear that.
Kev, you want to get in, man? Have some remarks, some condolences for the Alabama team.
Chris is
I don't
loving
have
this.
analysis. I don't got no play-by-play. Second half, first half. I appreciate the defense, although it was kind of boring, like y'all was saying in the first half. I did appreciate the defense. It was like a chess match where nobody was giving in. So I like that. It was beautiful. Yeah, I appreciated it. Second half, like you were saying, you give a whole lot of points, Kurt, on why it went down the way it went down, as you as well, Rez. But all I saw was the tide turning. That's all I saw. The tide was turning. And things were just not.
Was that a pun?
I wasn't trying to make it a pun, but it really was. Like the script started to flip. And although you said it wasn't dominance, it wasn't dominated, or maybe you said it was, but it wasn't the whole game. I felt like that second half was a bit dominant.
I think so too.
And Alabama struggled a little bit, and you saw Georgia was just more and more getting into a groove, more and more getting into a flow. And the momentum was just obvious where it was going. I was hoping for a comeback, something to be like, hey, look at these Kings, you know what I mean? Alabama, like you always bragging, 18-time champs. Let me see what he can do. Let me see if they can come back and put you on a good pedestal tonight. But unfortunately,
hey, people like this need to hold on to the past because they can't live with the present.
Last year, man, we won the championship last year.
It's still the past.
We were in the championship games this year. How many championships Georgia got? 2.
Wow.
2.
Wow.
They got this one.
Thank you. You got the most recent one. So yes, it's been a long time. 41 years since they last acquired a championship. It's been a while. They've always been to the ball. They never got the girl. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it comes.
Bama took the girl.
When it comes on time. So
You were saying that last year when Bama won.
I mean, are we talking about last year or are we talking about this year?
I'm talking about what you said last year. But go ahead. What's your commentary on it? I want to hear new Georgia fan.
Look, number one.
Bandwagon fan. What you got?
Look, don't get mad at me because your team.
What's the license plate on that bandwagon?
Are you done or are you finished?
I was asking, would you buy that ticket? Would you buy that ticket?
Look, man, all I want to say is shout out to Stetson. You know what I'm saying? I know he threw intentional ground a couple of times. They called a fumble one time of those 2 times.
It was a fumble.
Shout out to Zamir White. Again, he showed y'all how to run the ball. So I don't know where y'all were at, where y'all were doing y'all defensive scheming. So this is the thing. Look, I ain't gonna say anything new because y'all already said it. Reg pretty much gave you the breakdown accurately, and Kev, you know what I'm saying, kind of gave you the feeling that you got just the resonance, the resonating energy from there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to add anything new to it. You know what I mean? But I will say this. You talked about. I remember Kurt. You said something. Dude, she said. What you say? You said something like they went in at halftime, and then after that it was just like diarrhea. At the end of the day, this is what you're supposed to do. When you go in at halftime, you go and change your plan. You sit there and say, okay, this is what they're doing. We go to counterpunch. So this is exactly what they did. They didn't run the ball in the first half. They were throwing, chucking it, you know what I'm saying, trying to do screen passes. They're trying to do some quick hitches, some digs, and all that stuff. It just wasn't working because guess what? Alabama's edge rushers were coming for Stetson. They were hitting them too. Look, shout out to Alabama's front 4. You know what I'm saying? They did their job.
Both of them quarterbacks are taking some whops today.
Exactly. So shout out to them. They're the only ones who came to play. So this is what you do. You say, okay, well, let's get back to our identity. Running the ball. They ran the ball in the second half. They got you guys on your heels. You guys didn't know what to do. I don't know what y'all were doing at halftime. Guess you're watching the Katy Perry video. That was it. You know what I'm saying? So, don't get mad at the Bulldogs for doing their job in halftime in the locker room. So at the end of the day, they came back and they adjusted. They knew what to do. They knew how to get you guys. They found the counter punch. And at the end of the day, man, you can blame the cornerbacks for getting smoked multiple times. So, I don't have anything else to add. I just really appreciated this game. Go Bulldogs. We here. Woo! So,
There you go.
anything else you guys want to add?
I'm glad you brought that point up because that blew my mind too. It slipped me when it was my chance to talk, but man, when you said that news, I was like, wait, what? What are you saying? You mean like the gameplay, like what sports is about?
Whoa, so what?
You mean like halftime adjustments?
I know,
was so
right?
confused.
No, we made it.
I was
Thank you.
extremely confused,
Thank you.
but
Thank you. Thank you.
it was weird.
I mean, I have a question for you dudes. Like we said Nick Saban is, or people say Nick Saban may be the greatest.
He is the greatest.
Okay, the greatest of all time. I understand you get some injuries in your backfield. It happens. How does that speak to your coaching that your backups, your depth chart, is so just ill prepared? Just so ill prepared. Like they.
Whoa. First of all,
Hey, what are you guys doing right now? Y'all
I just want to understand.
Let's talk about this. So the blowout games that we have throughout the season, Saban is the first to pull the starters and put the backups in, okay? But what the question you're asking is, how can the people who are not starters rise to the occasion in the biggest lights in their young career, is what you're asking. Biggest lights in their young career. Against, let's be real, I'm going to be real, Georgia's defense was phenomenal. So for the receivers that normally don't start to go against that defense, when we won the SEC championship game, we had our stars. It's easy to rotate those deep in the bench players in when you have your star players.
I hear you on the offense.
Yeah.
With the pressure on the quarterback, and we talked about that. I said there was a lot of pressure on the quarterback. O-line was getting chewed through, and you said there was some injured receivers. I get that on the offense. What I'm talking about on defense, how were they so, like, they just couldn't, like, it was literally the man just like, I can't do nothing. I'm gonna tackle this because there's nothing I can do. I'm just getting burnt so bad. The other one on the other side, hands all over the receiver. There's nothing I can do. And the coach is not like, okay, can they not run a zone? Was there nothing they could do to help these guys out? Like, what does that say about the coaching? Like, there was no adjustment. If anything, there was a lack of adjustment because they weren't doing that bad in the first half. I felt like,
because we had no reason to respect Georgia's quarterback. And to be honest, we still don't have a reason to respect Georgia's quarterback. He got hot when the running game exploded. That was a miscalculation. We should have came in with a renewed emphasis to shut down Georgia's running game and make the QB beat us, because he's not able to. The only reason he was able to get those passes because that run game just
again, does that speak to coaching? Because if y'all now you making it even worse, because you telling me, coming out the gate, only thing y'all needed to do was stop this run game because this quarterback don't got it. He don't got the arm. He don't got the skill. He can't place it. They don't got the receivers. Whatever he's saying, like, so they could have just really focused on the run game. That didn't happen. So I'm just, does that speak to like some lapse in coaching, preparedness? Like, what does that say? I'm just asking as a fan, like watching the game, I wouldn't understand like like you could say starter, backup, whatever. But once you on that court or on the field or whatever sport you're playing, it should not be to the point where it's like all I can do right now is just hold on to the next play. That's what it felt. It felt like I was on the ropes taking them body blows, and you just waiting for somebody to just throw in you waiting for the bell to ring, cause you just gonna get burnt, and the only thing you can do is catch a penalty. It shouldn't look like that. That's what I was doing.
Let's remember this too, because Alabama's offense was not on point. The defense was out there for the majority of the game. Okay. The boys got tired, man. That's what happened. And then when Georgia started establishing the run, now you got to play up for the run. You also got to play back for the pass. You can only play for so long. And Nick had to go with the guys that he trusted in the situation because the game was getting tight, especially without the two-star cornerbacks. So all the mistakes somebody in the secondary, you got new cats up there. Yeah.
That makes sense because with the lack of depth, too, you're not rotating guys out. So it's the same guys on the field. Okay. That's
especially in crunch time. Yeah.
Hey, why did when I heard you talk about the cornerbacks, it reminded me of the Jimmy Butler in the finals where he was bent over, like gasping for air, like needing help.
That's what it looked like, bro. Cause like I'm not even gonna lie to you, like usually like you might be watching a sport and you be like you see somebody do like a foul and you be like, oh, like you should have tried to do it. But when he just went ahead and just took that PI and just tackled the player, I was just like, I see you did what you had to do, bro. Like I wasn't even mad at it.
He was like,
yeah, it was that intentional foul. Like I wasn't mad at it, but it just looked bad to me. It just looked bad. And I hear the reason is you're given, but I just feel like at that stage, at that platform, you have practice squads. Like obviously, like your starters are those guys you trust and you go to, but you have practice guys, and they're not just sitting on the couch all day. All season. They're working. They're putting in work and they're getting prepared too. So that was just surprising to me. Like you may not be as good, you may get beat. Like, it might be a close, but the wide receiver just might edge you out. But the fact that you just like you could have just put anybody in that point, it looked like. That was a little weird to me. A little
You're right. But the starters get those starters reps though in practice. Yeah. So they get the majority of the reps. Yeah. And they building up that endurance.
It's one thing to get beat. But they was looking like I ain't have a shot. Like this was. They looked like they were not even corners. That's what it looks like. It looked like if you took somebody out of the position, it's like, damn, we're down. You got to play corner today. That's what it looked like, and that was a little. that was a little weird. It is what it is. I hear what you're saying.
So cool. Anything else, guys? Go ahead.
I got a really quick question for Deuce. Was this inevitable? Because you made all these statements about who was injured, who wasn't there, and all these things that was done. So are you saying that Alabama just was lose this game?
I'm going to say it's hard to beat a good team twice. It's extremely hard to beat a great team twice. And as much as I hate Georgia, I ain't going to sit here and belittle that team. That defense is legit. And for us to beat them twice and without any time to really adjust, you're talking about SEC championship game, one playoff game, then you play again. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough. Because had it been vice versa, I would have said you're not gonna beat Alabama twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This Georgia team, you're not gonna beat them twice. So I mean, there's no good losses. I'm not about that whole more victory participation points, but I can respect that. I can respect this loss. Have we lost to Cincinnati? Bro, I wouldn't even be on this podcast. Nah.
I still feel like Alabama could have won this one. They had a couple chances. They messed up in the red zone. They missed those opportunities. They had a couple of these plays that, I felt like the defense could have held out, but they did silly mistakes. Like, I felt like that second PI that I felt like kind of cost him the game. He could have just put his hands up. He was in the right place. He wasn't burnt. He just put his hands on the receiver and got it.
I don't know why he did that.
Yeah.
He was in front of him.
Yeah,
and
the QB overthrew it. Like it wasn't even like, so it was just silly mistakes.
The hell went in the game.
Yep. So it's all good.
But we shifted. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but we shifted more. This is not a traditional Bama team because our traditional Bama teams are built on run and defense. This team was built on the quarterback, which is something Saban really doesn't like because of situations like this. But yeah, there were times we could have won it, but it's a good Georgia team. Whatever, man. Georgia, they win one every 50 years. We'll give them this one.
Tough fight. Great season still.
Yeah. So, but next year, man. So we're gonna relish in this. Us being the Georgia Bulldogs.
Ain't nobody gonna relish in this.
Nice second place.
It's a one-off.
Nice second place, Alabama. We'll see you there next year. And man.
Y'all won't be there. We'll be there. Y'all won't be there.
Okay. All right,
Georgia ain't gonna be there.
You also said that when y'all win today, blah blah blah, yada yada. Blah just came out your mouth. So, I can't. Your word ain't really credible right now. So, it's okay though.
Because I'm gonna say this right now. One, you're not a Georgia fan. Two, I'm gonna say this right now. Georgia's not going back to the championship game next year.
Like what we putting on there? Like how serious?
I want you to wear all Alabama gear when Georgia does not make the championship game next year.
Okay.
Are you lending the gear? Or you got to purchase the gear? How does it work?
You know Chris got that connection, Reg.
You got access.
You know,
You got access to the gear.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Only went for the executive gear, not the other gear. So it's okay. So yeah, man, fun game, nice defensive battle. Obviously, two southern teams, even though they're the SEC teams. You know, two SEC
they hate
teams.
SEC. They hate that, man. But I mean, when the two SEC teams meet, they're the best championship games in the college football playoff history.
Yeah.
The other ones have been blowouts.
Yeah. Ain't no one trying to see no Notre Dame go back to the championship game. So yeah, man. Better luck next time. I'm glad you showed up. You know what I'm saying? That's good. That's good of you, man. You know, I thought you just turned your phone off and went hiding, but I'm glad.
Like Bama, man. I show up. Like Bama.
Shout out to Auburn Tigers too, by the way. So